Hey guys, it's Rich with your Monday Spot on the Pagan Perspective, and this week we're talking about the TV show Charmed. This week's topic comes from Mike, who writes, "Hi, I was wondering if you could do a video on a witch's view of the TV show Charmed, the reality of it, the not-so-reality, like the P3 perspective." Okay, so unless you lived under a rock during the late 90s, early 2000s, were Amish or just did not watch the WB, you probably already know about the TV show Charmed. Now, there are varying viewpoints on whether or not it was a good show or whether it was a little too fluffy and whatnot, and I'm going to get to that here in a minute. But a little bit of background on it is, like I said, it came out in the late 90s, early 2000s. It starred Shannon Doherty, Alyssa Milano, Holly Marie Combs, and then later Rose McGowan. So, yeah. 3 witches that had an ancestral line going back to the Salem witch trials and whatnot, and all culminating in 3 witches that were to work together to battle against the forces of evil. So, that's probably the most plain way that I can put it. It lasted for 8 seasons and was on the WB, like I said before. And I really enjoyed the TV show. I still watch it about once a year-ish, or if I happen to catch it whenever it's on TV. I think TBS does the reruns of it now. But I do like the TV show Charmed. Now, there are a lot of people that like it because it was one of the first type of aspects of seeing a witch on TV positively portrayed. Some people don't like it because it's a little too fluffy or it doesn't accurately represent pagans and witches to the utmost extent. One thing that you have to keep in mind is this is a TV show that is meant for entertainment purposes. They produce it to make money, they produce it to entertain people, and you know what? At the end of the day, it's a fun TV show if that's your type of TV show that you like to watch. So, for me, I really enjoyed it. It was a good stepping off point to start researching different things in the pagan community. It was something that I really enjoyed, just touching a little bit and seeing witches portrayed in a positive light. Other people have found something similar in practical magic, and some people really have a connection to the craft. I wasn't really much a fan of the craft as much as I was Charmed and practical magic. Again, just maybe that's because I'm a little bit more fluffy, maybe that's a little bit because I'm a little bit more of a passive type person, but I really enjoyed the storyline aspect of it. But probably more so the first 6 seasons rather than the last 2. The last 2 or 3 got a little bit iffy for me. So it definitely has a cult following, and like I said, for me, just the last couple seasons did not follow the storyline as well or as much as I would have liked. But that's my personal opinion. I still like the TV show. I'll still watch it. In fact, if you're a fan of the TV show Charmed, check out the podcast Charmed Chats. It is very long. They go on a lot of different tangents, and it's not all about Charmed, but the main basis is reviewing each episode of Charmed, and they go into incredible detail. They do pick out some of the continuity errors, so if you don't want spoilers like that, then don't listen to it. But yeah, I kind of like that now. It took me a while to get used to that. But anyway, going into the actual question of talking about the reality of it, they do touch on, especially in the first season, some of the ideas of Wicca and witchcraft in general. Some of those aspects they touch on very, very lightly. Again, remembering that this is entertainment for entertainment purposes, not as a documentary. So that's something to keep in mind whenever you're watching this. some of the other aspects that they bring into the show, such as different deities. I know they have, I want to say it's a Hindu type of episode. They have ones on the Titans. They have those in there. There's a couple different episodes where they lightly touch on some of the aspects of different faiths. So I do like that as a jumping off point. The one thing to keep in mind is that whenever you're watching it, yes, it's been Hollywoodified. So it's definitely an entertainment basis. But if you actually find something in there that kind of rings true for you or that catches your attention, like, hey, maybe I should look into this a little bit more because it does pique my interest, then it's a good starting point. It's something that, you can watch. You can say, oh, okay, they talked about this Hindu deity or about this type of practice. In one episode, it's tea leaf reading. They talk about that. And you can watch that and you can say, oh, okay, well, maybe this isn't exactly what tea leaf reading is. Let's just take that example. But it does pique your interest a little bit in that little snippet of that one storyline that you end up going on a whole tangent of learning how to do tea leaf readings or something of that nature. So in that aspect, it's a great jumping off point. I do enjoy that aspect of it. But again, remembering that it is an entertainment purpose. I do like that they have the aspect of, people coming together and being stronger as a group rather than as an individual person. I think that's important to note, even though I don't think that, you have to be in a group or in a coven type of setting, obviously, because I don't, participate in a coven setting. And if you hear that, that's Coda taking a drink. But, I like how they put that aspect in there that people can do group workings and it just feeds your spell work, your workings a little bit more. And I like that aspect. Now, you can be a solitary, and they do cover parts of that, I think, in the first season. So that's something that is appreciated. Now, on that same wavelength, let's talk about some differences. Again, I'm going to say it one more time. It is an entertainment source, not a documentary. So there are a lot of things that they've taken a lot of liberties to expand on, to make their storylines fit and the character arcs to go from season to season. So that's something to keep in mind whenever you're looking at all the inaccuracies in there. So, they might have a certain candle color. I know in one they were doing I want to say it was a blessing, or where they called for blessings on certain people, in a memorial type of style. And yeah, they use different types of candles that you probably might not use in your ritual. But I think that the way that they approached it was very appropriate as a type of remembering of that person. I think that is lovely in a sense. I think that's lovely that they took that aspect of showing a memorial type of setting. But yes, you probably would not use that type of candle for that type of memorial. Or you might. So those are different things here and there that you will find a lot of differences in the TV show. So remembering that it's a TV show, remembering that, magic doesn't just poof and things happen, usually. And remembering that your magic is not always going to be visual. With some people, they can definitely visually see the energy work and see that electric type of energy take place. Knowing that that's most likely not going to be the case with you is very important to remember, and just to have fun with the TV show in general. So I do like it. I do wear and I don't have it on right now because I just colored my hair and I take off my necklace to color my hair. So yeah, anyway, I do wear the triquetra. I can probably count on both hands how many days that I've gone without wearing it because the chain broke or something like that. But I've worn that ever since, I think, 2005. But I've worn a triquetra just about every single day since 2005. It's something that I keep on me. It's something that really speaks to me, even whenever I was in a Christian type of practice. So yes, that's something that spoke to me then. It's something that speaks to me now. It's something that really resonates with me as symbolism. So I do keep that on me. In the first place that I think I've ever seen it was on Charmed, on the Book of Shadows. And who doesn't love, let me just go on a little tangent here, who doesn't love a huge Book of Shadows that has centuries of knowledge just jam-packed into a huge book? Who doesn't love that? Everybody that I think I've ever met or talked with or have seen videos done on YouTube loves the Book of Shadows in Charmed. And I think it's kind of a split between the Charmed Book of Shadows and the Practical Magic Book of Shadows are the top favorites. So I think those are the most that I've seen. Definitely more towards the Charmed Book of Shadows than the Practical Magic one, but I do have a place in my heart for the Practical Magic Book of Shadows. Anyway, yes, I love the Book of Shadows. I love how they did the character arcs and how they portrayed witches in a positive light. One downside that I will definitely say that I didn't think about until right before filming this or recording this is the term warlock that they use, especially in the first 2 seasons, I think. The term warlock is actually to mean oath breaker, and that was used primarily for men breaking the oath to the church. And so for a lot of people, they say, well, warlock is a bad word that we're not going to use in pagan practice and this and that. And I think one of the people that has brought this to light recently and adopted it for himself, and others are also doing that throughout the pagan community, is Christian Day. Christian Day took on the term warlock, and he's trying to bring it back, as are the other people that have taken on this title as warlock. They're taking on this title as trying to reclaim it, just as many people have done with the term of witch. So I love that it's kind of coming back into a favorable vocabulary term. But I don't like in Charmed how they did the term warlock to mean a bad person or a demon or something of that aspect, an evil entity. So that's one of my big hang-ups on that, is that I don't like that. But, again, entertainment purposes, I have enjoyed it for many years. Definitely recommend it, especially if you just want to be entertained. Again, not a documentary, so don't take it as a documentary. I think that's all that I have for this week's video. Next week is Subs Week, if I'm remembering correctly, so I will see you in October. Until then, and as always, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.